Hey, it's Mark Patrick with Mark Patrick Hypnosis and Fit Over 50 Life. One of the biggest questions I get all the time is this: can a skeptical person be hypnotized? So what I did is I put a short video together to address that question. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so can a skeptical person be hypnotized? Let's get to it. The answer is actually yes, but it actually depends on a few things, and I want to share those with you. First and foremost, typically a skeptical person is a very analytical person. Teachers, engineers, people who are in law enforcement all tend to be highly analytical personalities. Their conscious or analytical part of their brain works in fourth gear all the time. And here's what I mean. It analyzes information at the speed of light, and it is programmed to always look for the imperfections or for what's not right. Basically, analytical personalities are problem solvers, and many times they have difficulty relaxing. The great thing about hypnosis is you just need to relax to the best of your ability. Does that make them more negative and not able to be hypnotized? Not at all. Some of the best success stories have been very analytical personalities. So how do you get hypnosis to work for you? And that's a great question. That's what I want to get into. I want to go through a few things that I want to teach you. First and foremost, you really need to understand exactly how hypnosis works. Most people's perception of hypnosis is what they see on TV or on a stage show, which is called stage hypnosis, where you see people barking, clucking, doing crazy, silly things. Most people aren't even sure if that's real. That is 100% real. Only about 30 to 40% of people enter into a state of somnambulism, which is also known as an amnesia-like state, and they lose control over their senses. So if you've heard the thing that not everybody can be hypnotized for stage hypnosis, only about 30 to 40% are able to do that. So yes, that is true. So the form of hypnosis that we use for creating brand new habits is known as clinical waking hypnosis. Is also referred to as therapeutic hypnosis. And the great thing about this form of hypnosis is it's something that we do all the time. And let me give you some examples. If you've ever driven in your car for a long distance and you zone out and all of a sudden you don't remember the last 30, 40, 50 miles and it felt like it went by like a blink of the eyes, you just went into a state known as highway hypnosis. Every night before we go to bed, and every morning before we're fully conscious, we're in a state of brain activity known as an alpha state, which is classified as also a hypnotic state. So I always tell somebody, if you want to know how you're going to feel during a hypnotic state, you're going to be very relaxed. You will be fully aware. And two things you'll notice consciously during that state. Consciously, you'll notice that your mind will wander off, and you'll lose track of time. Outside of that, all the behavior changes will fall below your conscious awareness level. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. And I want you to imagine this. So this side of the page represents your conscious part of your brain. It represents about 10% of your thoughts and habits. The other side is your 90%, your subconscious part of your brain. And I want you to imagine this. In between your conscious and your subconscious part of your brain, I want you to imagine a filter, and that's called the analytical factor. And what that filter does is it stops things like habits, patterns, beliefs, things that you want to do from becoming part of your automatic daily ritual. So during a hypnosis session, what we're able to do effectively is remove that filter. So all the habits, patterns, and beliefs that you've been struggling with, we're able to get those into the subconscious part of your brain. And what that does is it creates brand new neural pathways in the nervous system, which leads to brand new habits, impulses, behaviors, whatever you want to call them. The bottom line, that's exactly what takes place during a hypnosis session. So I want to take fear out of the equation next. At no time under hypnosis can anybody force you to do anything that you wouldn't do consciously. Some people are concerned about this. Your brain actually has a mechanism in it that protects you from this taking place. And the next thing I want to share with you is this: as crazy as this may sound, you are actually hypnotized to smoke. You see, your subconscious mind a long time ago tricked you into believing you get pleasure from smoking. There's a series of events that actually took place in your life that led you to become a smoker. The first event was when you were a child. Most likely, you fooled around with candy cigarettes. And if you think about a candy cigarette, what's the first thing a child does with a candy cigarette? They put it in their mouth and they blow the powdered sugar off of it. That mimics smoke to the mind's eye of a child. So it's actually very similar to a real cigarette that you smoke as an adult. And on top of that, once they were done role-playing with it, they ate the cigarettes, pure sugar. Sugar is nothing but pure pleasure to our body, both physically and psychologically. So the first experience was a candy cigarette. Second experience, most likely you grew up around smokers. Just about everybody in your life that you looked up to were smokers. And if you think about all the family events, all the vacations, all the ball games, all the backyard picnics and holidays, every time you looked at that person that you looked up to, they had a cigarette in their mouth. At that point, being exposed to that so many times, so many years throughout your life, at that point, it becomes part of our environment. It becomes acceptable subconsciously. And at that point, I believe you're already a subconscious psychological smoker at that point. The third one happened the first time you smoked. And if you think about the first time you smoked, what happened? You went out there, you inhaled out of a cigarette, you coughed, your eyes watered. Some people even got nauseous or sick to their stomach. So where did the pleasure come from in the beginning? The pleasure came from in the beginning. You were doing it with your closest buddies or closest relatives or girlfriends. And what happens is the act of being either sneaky or adult-like was incredibly pleasurable. And then once you internalized you were going to become a smoker, the next thing you know, you had 10, 20, 30, 40 years under your belt and you've been struggling with this thing. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. And lastly, if you're still a little bit skeptical about hypnosis, the facts actually say it all. In an exhaustive study, researchers examined how 71,806 smokers became successful non-smokers. They looked at 15 different categories of ways to quit smoking, and they did a meta-analysis of all the data. They published their conclusions in the Journal of Applied Psychology, and they found out the number one method of stopping smoking was having a heart attack or a heart attack survivor. They found out having massive pain association like that was enough to shift somebody into making behavior changes. So they found that out, but they also found out the number two most effective method was hypnosis or hypnotherapy. So the bottom line is hypnosis does work. Well, hopefully you got something out of that video that you can apply to your life right away and start living a healthier lifestyle. In the meantime, I want to share with you something we have coming up. It is a Stop Smoking Seminar with Hypnosis, our online version of our seminars. The only difference between the online seminar and the seminars that we see in live events throughout hotels throughout the country where we help 50,000 people each and every year is the difference is this: you're able to do it in a more comfortable environment, your home or your office. And I believe that makes a real impact on your success and your ability to be able to relax. So anyway, on this page, there's a link to follow to find out more information. My suggestion, if you are interested, don't wait. Get started and find out more information. These programs do sell out all the time. Once again, thanks for watching this video.